Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.
And Famous Dave.
Oh, wait, more like this. Are you going to be over here for me? It's a
Are
new
you over
format,
here?
folks. Double Agents, Episode 5, Skyfall, from the James Bond movie Skyfall, right?
Well, they call it Skyfall?
They
That's
did.
awesome.
But sadly, this is the lowest watched episode of the season, 0.77. Dave, when in the previous season was a huge rating success, like there was several in the millions, right? Which is so rare nowadays. Why is it so low now? You know, because COVID's still going on. People can't go out still. I mean, they still are, but you know what I mean? There's still, is it because sports are on and that is what's taking away the views? I don't know. What is it?
I don't know. I mean, there is like NBA basketball going on. Like football is on the weekend, so it could be
Yeah.
basketball. But I think, I don't know. I kind of just try and look at this season and critique this season as to why it would go down, and them just skipping a week with no heads
Oh,
up, where they skipped
yeah.
a week. And then when they had the episode the next week, it's like, is it a girl's day? Is it a guy's day? Nobody knows. And all of that, I think, really took away from, like, it finally came back, and then we got kind of a clunker of an episode that I didn't think was very good. And I mean, you have like, especially like the mission they did with the drones, where
Yeah.
like nobody could even complete it except for one team.
Yeah, it's true.
So like people watch that and it's just like, oh, it's like, this is bad. So it's,
Yeah, and maybe they're so like, what is it? By 2000, I'm not even going to try. But there is a dip, and maybe that's a bunch of Nelson fans. They're like, "Fuck you, Fessy, never again," right? Because,
yeah.
well, we'll talk about it. This is the first thing I have written down because they're back at the house, and this is where Corey is kind of yelling at Fessy, like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And then people are sitting there watching it. Don't you think they deserved to not have those shenanigans going on right next to them? You know what I mean? I don't know. I find it annoying. Like Bananas would always do that, like peek over the window, like he would always do something like that, and I'm always like, stop! You do it every season. It was funny one time. Let it be. You know what I mean? But like CT is okay. He does some great miming work where he's like, popcorn and shit, and then he's got the sodas, like, sipping it and stuff. I'm like, yeah, but you did that in another season. Yeah, already this move, as a man who considers himself funny at times, I don't like to repeat jokes, really, and I guess that's the difference between CT and I, right?
Well, yeah,
Because
and
he would do
MTV's
that
production
jokes.
where they keep just like editing in the same reactions to everything.
Yeah.
When I saw CT, I was just super excited because the previous episode, like, CT wasn't there. I think he had like maybe 2 lines in the entire episode. Like, it was
Yeah.
ridiculous how like CT had nothing to do with anything. So like this episode, I'm like, oh, CT, yay, finally. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's some of these episodes, it's like an hour and a half episode, but the way they edit out like certain people, like seeing Darrell this week was awesome. I'm like, oh yeah, Darrell's here. Like, because everything is just focused on, it's just Josh and Devin and Tori and Lisa, and like that's it. And it's so hyper focused on these certain people. And I get it when someone's in power or the vote is about somebody, but it's like, I still like, if you have CT on the show, I still want to see CT, and I still want to see Darrell. I want to see the heavy hitters.
Well, we're gonna get a big baby of a hitter, who of course comes in, but Josh is like, "Hey, what the fuck?" Like, Fessy, I wanted to go in, you knew that and stuff, and this was annoying. Like every time Josh shows up now, I get like a small migraine. Although I've never had a migraine. Sorry, ladies and men, anyone can get a migraine. Uh, I just get like a small headache, like I'm slightly nauseous whenever he shows up now. I'm like, enough, Josh. This is terrible. But eventually Tori comes out and she's like, hey, I'm sorry that I gave Fessy the go-ahead without consulting you guys first. I was trying to do something good or whatever, right? This is going to be like a spiraling effect, snowball effect for Tori and kind of pissing people off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I thought it was just interesting. It's like Corey standing up for Nelson and like telling Fessy off. I'm like, yeah, good for you, Corey. Like, stand up to Fessy, because it seems like Fessy is kind of in charge of the Corey Nelson alliance, and Corey is standing up for his friend. But at the same time, I'm like, Corey, it's like you kind of did the same thing to Nelson last year, where you sent him home in order to get to a final. So it's like, you
no,
know,
no, no.
the only difference is Corey got Nelson to agree to doing it, rather than Fessy blindsided Nelson to do it.
What kind of retconning are you doing over there, Dave? I don't remember that. I just feel like, I mean, it would have been Corey chosen. So something like that. But then Nelson was like, take me instead. But that's a weird way to look at it, Dave. I don't know if I agree with you on that. But
You got Nelson to volunteer to go in, so that way Corey wouldn't have to go in.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is this fight is sincere. Corey should be mad, right? Do you agree? Yeah. So that's why I find it annoying that people are like, yeah, and like, listening in. And it's like, imagine that, Dave. Say like you, me, and DJ Matty Nice went on the challenge. And I saw a hall brawl. I'm like, I'm taking out DJ Matty Nice. And not only do I do that, but I like beat him up inside the hall and shit,
Get some eye pokes in there.
Yeah, exactly. God, that was terrible. He even tried to like stifle the breathing and shit like that, right? Mm-hmm. Or what is it called in the UFC technically? Obstruct the breathing or something like that. They could legally do that. That's fucked up. Anyways, after that, you come up to me and you're like, Vince, what the fuck, dude? What have you done? Like, you know what I mean? Wouldn't it piss you off that CT and Kyle and them, they're all like sitting on the corner, like watching and like making goofy faces about it when you're going through some serious pain, Dave? Or do you not care about DJ Matty Nice at all? Even in this fantasy scenario.
I would be mad at you for sending Matt home, all right? Because Matt was my one friend in the house, all right?
What was I?
You were my other friend, but obviously there's levels in this map.
Okay. Well, okay. So I mentioned Tori comes in and she's like, oh my God, I'm sorry I made the decision. So in this other room with Big T, Amber M, Gabby, and Amber B, they be talking, they're like, hey, this Tori chick is like running her mouth, calling us weak, and I like this. I like that they're kind of standing up. They're like, because we're small and because we're new and stuff like that. I do think they rope in Anissa in there a little bit just because they're friends. But that's all I have written down. We'll get into the mission if you want to. Anything else need to be mentioned? No?
Not really. I mean, I think it is weird that Corey and Fessy are arguing over what happened, and rightfully so, that Corey should be angry, and he is. But I think it's weird that like people are watching and they're kind of staying out of it for the most part, because I think it's a universal thought that what Fessy did was an asshole move. And I think anybody could point it out and say you're an asshole. But Tori says something, and then they're like, everyone's upset at her, and it's just like,
oh shit.
I don't know. I don't know. The fact that they're mad at Tori should be because Tori was helping Fessy in this situation by calling him out to go down there, I guess. If that's why they're mad at her, that's fine. But the fact that she's getting involved in that argument, like, she should be part of that argument because she was directly involved in that situation. But I guess I don't know what I'm saying, really.
No, I mean it's just what's going on is that you know Tori might be over. She's overstaying her welcome. She's way too overconfident, and we know she's the type of person to kind of go out there, kind of like a camera whore. She likes to put on a
Yeah.
show. So it doesn't. The fact that Josh came lumbering in and said like, "Oh, I like to be part of fights," you know what I mean? And then Tori does. I'm like, of course you would as well. I don't know. I would hate going to a challenge actually.
Yeah.
Imagine I did take out DJ Matty Nice, and you're like, "Why'd you do it, Vince?" I'm like, "I was actually hoping he'd take me out. I fucking hate this place, but you know." Okay. Yeah.
Well, one thing I want to say is it's like Tori and Devin, they won the mission, so they're in power. They're the double agents. But one thing we've learned this entire season, we saw it in the first 2 episodes when Anissa and Fessy won back-to-back episodes. The reason they won the back-to-back was the second episode. Nobody else wanted to be the double agents because they knew that when you're the double agents, you piss people off because you had to call someone out to go in. So that's why people were hesitant to even be the double agents. So, and you're seeing it here with Tori gets to be the double agent. You think, oh yeah, that's great. But no, you're pissing off a lot of people when you become the double agents because in the following episode, you get your comeuppance.
Oh yeah. There should have been like confetti and shit once you said the word comeuppance. I like that word. I'm a fan, actually. Let's get into the mission. Let's get into the mission. But before we do that, Dave, TJ's like, hey, guess what? A lot of people are leaving. Natalie, you're going to have to leave as well. You're DQ'd. You are unfit to continue. Before we go on to what happens after that, do you want to touch upon why? Do you have any quest to understand why she left? Or are you just like, she left. It sucks, but she's gone?
Obviously, I think Natalie left because her amazing partner, Wes, is gone. And, she tried to stick it out for a couple days. And, after about a week, she's like, nah, it's not the same without Wes. So she's like, I'm done.
I would much prefer that than the reality. Let's just say it was very tragic. It sucks. It's very just like, oh wow, what a bummer. So
yeah, she was one of the best female competitors.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, right? There was a lot of hype, and I wasn't doubting her, but I wish she would have been able to stay longer. But moving on, but she's gonna get replaced.
What he said was, I'm positive we're gonna see you in the future. Like,
yeah, that was weird.
It was.
He didn't say that to Wes.
Pre-season contract or something.
Yeah.
It's like, you're coming back. You're obligated. You signed the dotted line.
Remember, Bear had a contract or something like that. There was a rumor, right?
Yeah.
Do you know anything about what's going on with Bear right now?
Like, I looked into it. Like, there was tons of reports on that.
Do you know what happened to Bear recently?
Georgia accused him of something. Oh yeah, I remember.
I don't know why we're laughing, but he got arrested for revenge porn, right? He uploaded him banging Georgia. Yeah, that's a fucking crime, man. I don't even know how long you go away for that. Yeah. And hey, does that surprise you at all? Not really, not me.
He was kind of the exact type of person who would do that. Like, it's Bear. Like, Bear will try and break up a relationship, like him and Kayla, like Kayla and her boy. He'll try and get in between that just for the fun of it. Like, he enjoys fucking with people. Like, he's a very fake, manipulative person.
Yeah, and not only that, sometimes couples do film themselves, but he filmed her without her knowing it, which is an extra
I'm sure lots of people do
charge.
That nowadays. You can get little cameras and people have them on their doorbells nowadays, Yeah,
that's right. Okay, so wow, we got really off the tracks there. Okay, so TJ's like, all right, Natalie, you're fucking gone. Well, he didn't do that. He was like, no, Natalie. Then he says, we're going to have a replacement. And the fucking van is like coming down the road. Who did you think? Did you have a guess before this happened?
Like there was this weird what did TJ say? Like there's gonna be reinforcements or something. He had some weird line. And
Yeah, it
I was
was
just
all.
like, oh no. I'm like there and my girlfriend Brooke is like, replacement, who's it gonna be? Cara Maria? And I was just like, no, it's gonna be Ashley. I know it's gonna be Ashley. Like
Really.
I knew it was going to be Ashley because I'm like, it's quarantine. Like, there's no way Cara Maria has been sitting in a quarantine in Iceland for like 3 weeks waiting for this opportunity. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, Ashley, yeah, she's probably just hanging out in a hotel in Iceland or something, just drinking in a hotel room. Like,
Yeah.
what was Ashley doing since she got eliminated? Because obviously she couldn't break quarantine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they probably had to set him up with like what the UFC does, for Fight Island. It's just like the whole hotel. You get the hotel or something like that, right?
Yeah,
Something
she had to have
similar.
been hanging out with the producers of the show in production, the cameramen, the sound people, the production assistants who set up all the missions and eliminations. She had to have just been hanging out in their hotel the entire time because it's got to be like everyone was tested and everyone's clean.
Yeah, can you imagine Wes and Nelson? They're just like, Ashley, they see Ashley like hear the news, and they're just like, "Oh fuck yeah!" And she takes off. You're like, "What the
Yeah,
fuck, man? Come on, that
this is so
sucks."
good. And they're like, Nelson, you want to hang out a little bit longer? Maybe in a couple of weeks you can come back.
Yeah, I was so bummed out when she popped out, though. I was just like, "Oh wow, that was the first person eliminated, and she gets to come back." There's no redemption island this time, right? There's no exile island. There's no redemption house. This really took the sales out for me at the beginning. I'm like, oh my god, come on, man.
I was okay with it.
Uh,
I was okay
yeah,
with it because we lost Natalie, who's a really good competitor, but doesn't really have much of a personality, or at least wasn't ever shown on TV to have a personality. And
right.
then Nicole, who's super annoying and you can't understand her.
She was legit
Then
hurt.
yeah, and then Liv, who that British chick, who's I don't know, she's just a rookie with like we lose those three, but it was like at least Ashley, I think, is an upgrade over all three of those. Even all three of those combined, I'd rather have Ashley. Even though I
Live with
hate
all her.
Ashley,
Yeah,
she's still more entertaining.
Liv was also injured. Let's just say that. So out of the remaining women to get cycled back in, Ashley's the only one that wasn't hurt. You know.
Yeah, Ashley
Um,
actually got eliminated. All the other girls have gone home from injuries or personal reasons.
from the one and only female elimination we've had this season, so
Episode
that's
one. How
yeah.
crazy is that? This is episode
Well,
5 now?
yeah, episode 5.
Yeah, so we had 2, 3, and 4 were all guys' eliminations.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, okay, so she comes back and Corey gets Ashley. It's a Rivals 3 reunion, right? And I
Yeah.
just want to travel back a little bit. Let's go back through time just a little bit. The whole reason why Ashley and Corey were rivals is because on their real world, she said to Corey, she's like, my family could have bought your family. Like some fucking racist ass shit, right? Now consider that. She has come back over and over and over again. Considering what they did to fucking D for that comment, they were just like, oh, fucking erase her from the show. Look at what Ashley fucking said. Like, what the fuck? That the whole reason she was cast was because she said that to Corey, and they hated each other, and they're like, we gotta put them on Rivals. You know what I mean? Like, they're so what would you call it? Cherry picky when it comes to what cast member they'll just fucking strike down with all the law and whatever. You know what I mean? And some
Yeah.
of them get a little slap on the wrist, not even, like bananas. There's so much shit that goes down that they will tolerate apparently. So let that be remembered. Ashley might has gained so much notoriety and money, all because she was such a horrible human being. You know, let's remember she's trash. All right.
It's all about riding the line and not crossing the line.
The Dixie line.
I mean, she crossed the line, but she did it before it mattered, because now it matters. But I don't know.
Wow.
It happens that way with literally anything in the public eye, where it's very cherry picking, where you can say like, oh, somebody got destroyed for doing this, but then somebody else kind of got away with it.
For sure with the production though, right? Let's talk about the mission itself. It's going to be called Agent Down, where they're over a cliff, beautiful looking waterfall or whatever it is, body of water. This whole place looks great. Eventually the bar drops down, so the girls have to like hold themselves up if the guy doesn't pull out 200 meters of rope. What does that transfer to feet, Dave? You have to know this, right?
600 feet.
600 feet of rope? Holy shit.
Give or take 40 feet. I
don't know. Such an asshole. I know you would never do that to me. Like, Vince, what's this number? I'm like, shut up. You know I don't like math.
What was the point of the rope? I don't understand. What does it have to do with anything? They're just like, pull this rope out and then hold your partner. But it's like,
well, some people didn't pull out the rope before their partner fell. Maybe it's just to tire the arms before they have to go hold their partner.
Yes, I don't know. It seemed like it was just like, oh, if we have them pull rope in super slow motion, we'll get some good camera shots of that. It was. I feel like every mission this season is just like, let's do something where we can slow it down and put some music over it and make it look cool. But I don't know. I feel like there was seasons where like you had awesome missions and they were just really cool. And this season is not that season, where it's like, okay, I like people dangling over the edge, but I thought they were just going to do the traditional. I forget what season it was. Was it Free Agents? I think they've done it in a couple different ones where you got to hold your partner and just hold on to it. But this one, they added the rope to it, but it didn't seem to really fit.
They did that in Duel 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, they added the rope. I gotta say now, maybe it's better that they added the rope. But just let the women do something more than just dangle there, you know? Like, give them something to do. Like, maybe they have to untie their shoes. That'd be pretty fucked up. Like, oh my God, we gotta untie our shoes. Give them something to do is what I'm saying.
I feel like they should have added, like, a puzzle. Give the girls a puzzle to do where the guys do the rope or something, or at least have the girls do a puzzle to start off. Whoever has the fastest times, if you're in like the top 3 fastest times for the puzzle, then your partner has to only do 100 meters of rope instead of 200 or 150 meters.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so that way you give yourself an advantage to help, I don't know, like at least give the girls something more to do than just hang there.
Yeah. I mean, we clearly are just.
I don't know. Except for the fact that Big T wins, and then they're all like, "Oh, Big T, yeah, you had something to do with you winning." Like, and I was like, she kind of just, I don't know. She held on to CT, but I don't know. It didn't seem like she was doing the holding. It was CT holding her.
Yeah, the weight ratio between the two, you know.
Yeah,
basically the biggest guy. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so do you want to go partner by partner, or you want to just kind of quicken these things up? Because, yeah, I can't say too much, you know, except for like winners per heat, right?
Yeah, let's just talk about. Yeah, we can just talk about the winners, or we'll just comment on like Nam being like a little disappointing because the guy is absolutely jacked. Yeah. But he didn't win. And it's just like the super muscly guys, they never have endurance.
I was going to say that. Plus, I would say Lolo is a probably pretty heavy woman. I mean that with just factually, she's like meaty, muscly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Compared to Teresa,
Yep.
because Jay and Teresa, yeah. I think that has something to do with it. And she was kind of annoying. She was like talking a lot. She's like, "No, no, no, you're gonna let me do." She was like constantly saying stuff. Her confessional, she's like, "Well, I find it hard to trust a man, and I hate heights, so my two worst fears at the same time," or something like that.
I remember
Yeah,
that. Are you
yeah,
serious?
and yeah. uh, Real quick, it's been brought up like Nam was hesitant about a relationship or whatever because of the age discrepancy. Do you know their ages? He's
I would assume
28.
Lolo is 35 or 36.
She's 38. He's 28. So they are older competitors, They really seem to they found each other, Dave. So late in the game.
That's not like a big age difference, and like 28 and 38. That's not like a big age difference when it's like if you like someone, you can still date them. It's not like 30 and 20. There's a big difference there. But like once you're past 25, like you're an adult.
25 alive. All right, fair enough. Let's do this. We'll just bring up the pairs real quick. If anything pops out, fine. Jay and Teresa, they win the heat. Jay is a rock climber, so he's got the grip, right?
Oh, he is a rock climber.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, he was phenomenal.
Yeah, the first American to ever win Ninja Warrior was a rock climber. I was just telling you that. Leroy and Anissa, I don't think Leroy got to Anissa in time. No, he did, but he couldn't hold her, Dave. Who knows why, right?
Yeah, I don't know. His hands are slippery.
Yeah. Nam and Lolo, we already discussed that. Devin and Tori. Devin basically let Tori fall, right? He was just like, yeah. I don't care. He's gonna say that for the rest of the episode. Wait, no, Anissa. Oh my gosh, I can't follow these notes. Leo, Gabby. Oh, who gives a shit? Oh, Darrell. He was like, I don't want to get height shock. And even though we got the rope on time, he was taking way too slow of a time to get to Amber B. So when the thing fell off, eventually Amber fell too. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, I really thought Darrell was going to be one of the favorites here to win.
Yeah. But that's a real height thing. Okay, heat number 2, Kyle and Cam. I think Kyle was the first one to pull his rope or whatever, and Cam is like, "Oh my God, Fessy, it looks like you are maybe not as fast as you once said you were." And that's Cam. She has no inside voice anymore, and all her words are very stilted. It's like she's following a ball. Like those old music videos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the bouncy ball. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't stand it now. Now that I finally figured it out, what's bothering me about her? Oh.
See, what annoyed me with Cam was just every time they cut to her confessional, it was the same thing. It was hair flip. She cut to her 3 or 4 times in a row. Every time she did the hair flip in the middle of what she was saying, she would say something, do the flip of hair, say the next thing. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Like
I look a good hair flip, but yeah, maybe she overdid it, right? Okay, Fessy. Oh, that's a young person's word, Dave. Be careful. Pull your back. All right. Fessy and Casey. Yeah, eventually she's like, oh, Big T and CT, of course they're gonna win. It was kind of cute where she's like, give me your intimidating face, and she was just a scared little person, right? Are you liking this team, Big T and CT? Or a big yeah.
I like Big T. She's got the personality. She's got a really good personality. Like as a competitor, I really don't know. But like CT says she's got heart, she doesn't quit. So We've seen girls like Fresh Meat 2 with Landon and Carly. Like, as if you have heart and you don't quit, you can make it to the final and you can win. So, and Big T's got that, right?
Perhaps. I don't know. I think I'm one of those assholes at a wedding. And I'm like, I give them a month or something like that. Or like I give them a year. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna last, honestly. Josh and Nani. Oh my God, Nani was annoying. Both these people are so annoying, right? I think
Oh
Nani
yeah.
was just like screaming up at Josh, like, "No, Josh, don't! You're gonna whatever." Like, ugh. She falls, so it's fine. Meki and Amber M. I think Meki was like the last guy to do the rope or something. No, Corey was. So when the plank fell, Ashley fell first, right? She just got back, and
Yeah.
Corey couldn't pull the rope. He couldn't do it at all. He was the only one not to do it. Corey, man, you're letting us down, I think, right?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So like Corey's just been recycling or cycling through his partners because it was Corey and Tori, and
Oh
then
yeah.
Corey and Natalie,
Yeah.
right? And now Corey and Ashley.
Yeah.
And I feel like Corey is just kind of getting passed around. It's like we like you, but not that much.
All right, all right. That's fair. Okay, so it comes down to CT and Big T beating out Jay and Teresa by 5 seconds. That's crazy.
Do you believe that? Do you believe that those times are accurate?
That was kind of hard to swallow. I was like, well, no, I kind of believe you have to believe it, right? Because Big CT is so huge, and Big T, I doubt weighed anything to him, compared to Jay, where he's got the strength or he's got the grip. But Teresa's, what would you say, maybe 20 pounds lighter than Jay? Maybe they're kind of similar in my eyes.
I mean, Teresa's tiny for a girl, though. Like,
Oh, I picture her as tall and thin for some reason.
no,
I
I
don't
think she's short and thin. I don't know.
know.
I think she's just so skinny she appears to be tall, just because I don't know. She's got noodly arms and legs, but I think she's actually kind of short. I don't know.
Uh,
Um, I do think. What was I gonna say? I felt like one of the production assistants like whispered in CT's ear, like, "Okay, you got to hold on for 45 more seconds." He's like, "Okay," and then they're like, "5 more seconds," and then he's like, "Oh, okay, now I won." I don't know. It's just like they're two separate heats, so it's like, how in the world was it that close? Unless he kind of knew that he had won and then let
right.
go.
The one thing that could have been done is have those two winners go against each other, right?
Right,
They
exactly.
did that. They did that a lot on X's One, and that I always thought that was pretty sweet. Like the first and second place, they went head to head to determine the true winner. Yeah, so
Yeah,
fuck
they
yeah, man.
100% should have done that. That would have been great.
Yeah, way better that way. Okay, now on to the club scene, and this is just Queen T. She basically stole Cam's persona. Remember, Cam would always be like, "I'm the queen" and shit like that every time she won a mission or whatever. This is Cam on steroids, right? This Big T. So
But
much
like big,
so,
what?
what?
Yeah.
So much so, I was gonna say Cam on steroids, not back acne, but forehead blingery or forehead bedazzlement. Yeah. It's way too messy. Oh my gosh, I wish I had that clear in my mind.
Yeah.
But
All right.
how do you like her look?
It looked great. Like Big T is a legit queen because she actually has grace and dignity. You know,
It's the
she's.
accent. You
She,
fucking
I was just gonna
colonizer.
say that she has a British accent. So I mean, she legit comes off with Queen vibes. Like Cam, I'm sorry, you don't have Queen vibes. Like Big T was the actress meant for this role, and she plays it off great. You know, and the thing is like Big T, she's had this wig in her backpack for like the last couple weeks, and she knew she was gonna bust it out for when she got her win, and she finally did. So all of a sudden it was like, oh, like we'd never seen it before. It was great.
I'm trying to think of something I would want to wear, a piece of article of mine when I win a mission, you know, and I go in the chamber or whatever it is, you know. What do I wear? I'm like, I'm not proud of any of my clothes. They're just clothes. Like they're just things I put on my back. So society will be like, yeah, he's normal. Yeah. We thought, yeah, they walk
So you'd be like Devin. You would just have a backpack with like 7 different hoodies in there.
Yes.
Like, what hoodie am I going to wear today? Generic hoodies.
Okay, so T, she has almost a. There was a lot of people she kind of called into her own VIP area. She made herself and had like all these people come up, kneel before her, legit kiss her hands, you know. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to play along. Again, this would not be a good place for me. I'd be like, Big T, stop it, stop. And I'd turn to the producer, stop. Everyone stop recording. They're like, we don't stop. What are you talking about?
How dare you do this? It's like, you have been summoned by the queen. This is a small council meeting, all right?
Amber M calls out Tori during all this. She's like, hey, I've been hearing that you've been going around calling me weak. Everyone except for me. And when you do that, that makes you weak in my eyes, you know? Because Tori's like, I don't know, she's going to have the same argument during deliberation where she's like, hey, I earned my stripes. If you haven't, I'm sorry, but I want you out of here or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I remember Tori being more gung-ho to go against more powerful players herself. You know? I don't know. It just seemed different this time because she was like, no, I want to go against a smaller person and stuff like that.
Like, are you talking about this season compared to seasons in the past?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I just felt like she was more just like, if I have to go in, I have to go in. But, I mean, she does want to go in. She just is choosing smaller targets, or I don't know.
I feel like for the girls, like for Tori, there's so many rookie girls. You know, Gabby, Amber, like Liv is gone, but there was a lot of like rookie girls where you're like, okay, I think I can beat them. There's so many different options that she's like, yeah, I want to go against one of these weak girls. And the problem is all those there were so many weak girls that they had an advantage when it comes to a vote. So they were able to put in a strong girl against Tori, you know? I think that Tori, she kind of, this season a little bit, she kind of reminded me of Cara Maria in a way, where she felt like a top alpha girl. She's like on the top and she wants to pick on the little ones, the new ones, because that's kind of a Cara Maria move that she would always do. And it would get super annoying. And now we kind of got to see Tori like that. It was interesting.
Yeah. I mean, in my eyes, she was like one of the top, you know, definitely top tier competitors. So, okay, let's get on to deliberation. And I just have to say this first. Do we need them? Do we need them if overall you're going to make a secret vote? You know what I mean? I feel like everything's done before the deliberation even happens. You know what I mean? I feel like everyone's talked to each other outside or in little rooms, and this is just a formality. I feel like we don't need it, and I don't think Cutthroat did this. I don't think they had deliberation. I feel like they just were all in a room, and then they're like, hey, Derek, it's your turn. And that's all, you know? They would just all go in. I don't think we need the deliberation.
I think you're probably right, like 90% of the time or 95% of the time. But it's like,
Always?
no, 95% of the, there is a chance because like that deliberation is like it is your it's your closing argument in a court case, you know? It's you're telling the jury like, okay, so these are the points, like this is why you should not vote for me. And you can maybe sway a juror or someone who's going to vote to swing a vote, you know, someone who's sitting on the fence. You might be able to switch one person's vote, and this is kind of the opportunity to do that. But that might happen once in a season, or it might happen not at all in a season. So it could be pointless, but it's kind of hard to say.
You know, with that idea though, I would rather I'd rather get to see what everyone voted for. You know, don't they do that on Survivor? Like they legitimate say like everyone says what their vote is or something like that. I don't know. I just feel like if you're gonna have the deliberation, then you clearly get to see seconds later if that argument swayed anyone's vote. You know, I feel like that's just more compelling than showing people pressing the button and waiting for the surprise. You know, again, producers kind of get in their own way sometimes. You know, like things could be more smoother if they didn't want to have all these like crescendos and shit like that. These moments, you know, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically it's the rookie girls versus Anissa and Tori. Again, there's talk about like, if you don't have stripes, then how do we put respect on your name? That's a fucking bold thing to say by Tori. That's the only thing I've written down, you know? If you don't earn a stripe, how do we respect you as a person? Come on. Like, holy shit. I don't know.
I don't know. It's the classic vet versus rookie argument that, you know, it's all vets always lean on this argument of like, you're a rookie, you got to prove yourself, you know? And it's, I don't know. I don't think that'll ever change. And it's there's kind of a point to it. But the thing is you will get the vets will put in a rookie and then the rookie will win. And then they'll just vote in that same rookie again and again until they get sent home.
Yeah, I mean, I do like this change in power. You know, it's kind of cool to watch. You know,
Yeah.
Could this be the second rookie revolution? Remember, Frank started it back in seasons. Remember with Zach and Team San Diego. Yeah, rookie revolution number 2. They're gonna storm production's personal. Was it the Senate, the Capitol? They're gonna storm the producers like hang. Who's the producer? Murray. This is all horrible shit. They storm. They take Maury's plaque. They're like, they take pictures of him sitting in his desk. Well, the producers are huddled together.
We'll find footage of like production assistants like opening the doors and letting them.
Yeah.
Actually, try to stop them. It's like they invited them in.
That's all horrible. Okay. But great at the same time. Okay, let's get into the chamber part, right? Everyone does their thing. CT and Big T show up. It's the compromised agents are Anissa and Leroy. I just want to say what stood out right away. Leroy burned a vote on himself. Jesus Christ.
But the thing was, he didn't burn a vote on himself. It was all calculated.
On Anissa?
He said it because Leroy said, I'm just going to burn a vote on me and Anissa. But he knew that he wanted Anissa to go in against Tori because that way it was one less strong competitor to go against Cam, his girlfriend. So Leroy, so Anissa, let's skip ahead here. This was like my favorite part of the episode was what Leroy did. Because not only did he send in his own partner, but it worked. But is Anissa going to find out that he voted her in and get pissed about it? Or is she just not going to know?
Oh, I guess, it would be up to Big T and CT, right? To put out that information. Yeah. And I think
if he lets the bean slip and he says anything.
Yeah, the bean town. All right. So real quick, Cam and Kyle, I just like to say who voted together as a team
Okay.
because
Yeah.
sometimes it sticks out. Cam and Kyle work together. Amber M and Mechie, Darrell and Amber B. Darrell and Amber B have voted with each other every single time. It doesn't always happen for everyone else, but I feel like Darrell's got that locked down. I feel like he's going to work with her like he did with Aviv, in Freshman 1. Like Darrell knows how to play this fucking game. He's probably having Amber B like fucking jog with him every night and shit like that,
Yep.
or day. Yeah.
But
Nam
don't
and
you think
Lolo.
Darrell is going to change partners at some point? Like once he gets his gold skull, I feel like Darrell's going to get a gold skull and he's going to pick a different chick.
Yeah. If I was him, I would pick Lolo. I don't know.
Maybe Ashley, but I don't know.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, she's back. I'm sorry. I thought she was gone. God damn it.
Back, baby.
She's like the South shall rise again. God. All right. Casey, Leo and Gabby voted together, but Casey, Nani, Ashley, Devin, and Leroy all wandered off. And I think that's the biggest gap between teams voting with each other and people just scattering off and voting something else. So it's kind of significant. Let's get into the elimination where TJ reveals the compromised Anissa and Leroy. And this happens. TJ's like, hey, Big T, do you want to come down here? And she's like, no. TJ, remember in episode 2 where you're like, need I remind you people that there's only so many skulls or whatever? And it's like, no one has went down, right? No one has gone down this season. Who's won? So that just makes TJ's little outburst, little 2 cents on episode 2, even more stupider. Even more stupid.
I don't think it was because it was.
Oh, it totally is.
Daniel or whatever his name was. Like it was the biggest mismatch ever, and Fessy turned it down.
No, okay. Well, all right, that's fine. You like TJ and think he's great.
The dream matchup. It's like Vince. It's like saying like, okay, you can go in against DJ Matty Nice in a hall brawl. You're gonna be like, yes.
DJ Matty Nice's ears are burning right now. He's like, what the fuck? Okay, so she sends in Tori to go against Anissa. It's going to be called
like
Ass. Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, it's very obvious. Like, there's no way Big T would want to face Anissa in an elimination. Like, if you're a girl, you want to go against one of the rookie girls, one of the, Ambers, somebody like that, where you think you have a chance.
Yeah, but they're friends, man. You gotta have friends, Dave.
No, but Big T, she's gonna have to pull the power move and go against one of her friends. Pull the Fessy.
Yeah, that's true. But also don't go against Anissa because she's got one of the best elimination records. I mean, not the best, but she's got a good record. That's one of her best areas. So it's going to be called a set destruction. You have to take a cart, pull it by a rope, and then so it topples down, releases bombs. Stop calling them bombs. Start calling them painted volleyballs and medicine balls. You know what I mean? Yeah. Bombs. Fuck that. It makes it sound so much cooler.
It was that or, volleyballs that we filled halfway with sand.
Yeah, exactly. And they look so chintzy and so cheap. Like one of the last balls that Anissa throws, there's like duct tape or something like that, like hanging off it and stuff. They like ran out of paint and had to use duct tape.
It's like they cut open a hole to fill it with sand, and then they were using duct tape to like cover up the hole.
Okay, and then so after that, after you pull the bombs down, then you have to throw them through these targets, but they're random. which I fucking hate. I always disagree with randomness. It has no purpose in this show, in the challenges. You know, I hate randomness.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
so
the Wes and Bananas elimination,
fucking
where it
hate
was like,
that.
okay, we're hiding 3 batteries, but it's in a random spot. Whoever finds them first wins, and it's like, how can you have an elimination that's just based off of randomness?
Yeah, you really shouldn't, but they did it. Okay, so how did it go? Did Tori live up to all the hype, her own self-imposed hype?
Well, I mean, she can't get the cage to topple over and release all the balls, and she's pulling on it. She's wrapping it around her body and pulling on it, and it's not working.
Yeah.
Anissa gets it to topple over immediately, so Anissa's just going to work, throwing all the balls. And Tori's like looking over, like it won't topple, and I'm starting to think like, did production like fuck up something here, and like is this not going to work? Because we've seen this in eliminations or missions where it's like the props just don't work sometimes,
Yeah.
and you're like, and like, because in my head I'm like, but maybe the whole point was you had to get it going full speed down the track, so that way its momentum would knock it over. And that's what it was. So she had to push it all the way back and then get the momentum, then it would topple over.
Yeah. And while this was happening, I wonder if she heard Jordan's voice, like, you didn't listen to me. Like, remember all that yelling he was doing?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And she had to calm him down after she lost. I was like, that's
Yeah.
a terrible relationship. Get out of there. And she
I
did.
can't believe it didn't work.
Yeah. Let's see here. So yeah, but it took a long time for Tori to finally topple it over. Anissa actually had 10 out of 13 already completed by then.
Yeah.
But
and then Tori does the comeback, and Anissa can't get anything going, and Tori ends up getting like 9 or 10 or 11 herself. I think it was
something like that. She did really
I
good.
rewound it a couple times because my girlfriend said, like, oh my gosh, like Tori got 11 when Anissa got her 13. So Tori almost had the comeback.
Is there any because this was going to be a segment, but we quickly flew away. Brooke's notes, I want to call it, or the Brooke beat. I don't know, the Brooke beat down. Like, does she have anything else to kind of bring into the episode? Does she have any great quotes? No.
I mean, she pointed out the fact that Tori like really almost came back and won it. She mentions that Fessy is a bitch like every episode.
All right. And that's the end of
Ashley coming back because she hates Ashley.
All right, there you go. She's an educated fan.
I like Ashley. I mean, that's not true. I hate Ashley, but I like that she came back because I feel like she's still an upgrade over the people we had.
Yeah. If quarantine wasn't here, it would have been amazing to bring in Cara Maria over Ashley. What do you think?
Yeah, just because she hadn't been on this season.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I hated the fact that Ashley came back so much. Okay, so Anissa beat Tori. And this was the other thing. Like, Tori's like, oh my God, you guys, put some respect on that woman's name because she took me out. All right? Me out. She was that was her big thing. She's like, who could have possibly defeated me? But Anissa's a badass bitch. And she, like, just heaping all this stuff. Like, oh my God, she beat me. It's like, Tori, go, like, calm down, go into quarantine, Yeah. Man, that was not a graceful exit, I want to say.
She's not very humble.
No.
And I mean, it worked all to plan for the rookie girls. They got the 2 vet girls in against each other because, they knew they couldn't take out either of these 2, so they got them to do the dirty work for each other.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the part now that Anissa has a gold skull. She's the only female with a gold skull. She has to. Did you see this coming? What her choice was going to be?
I thought that she was friends enough with Leroy that she was just going to stick with Leroy.
Yeah, me too.
I guess. So I didn't really see it coming. I don't know. I figured that, like, well, Fessy hates Anissa as a partner, and Anissa knows that. So I figured she would just move on and be content with Leroy. But, like, I forgot that, like, wait, no, this is Anissa. Like, she doesn't care what you think about her. She's going to play her game, you know?
Uh,
And Anissa plays her game, and she goes back to her original choice of Fessy.
yeah, I mean, she could have, because, immediately she was looking up. It's not like she was like looking at Leroy and is like, relax, man, we're together and shit. No, she was immediately looking up. And I was like, oh, she could take CT. That's where I was kind of thinking, maybe Darrell. But no, she takes Fessy back. Yeah. So right away I was like, oh, come on. Like, this is the part where War of the Worlds 2, remember, if you switch teams, you can't switch back. That's what I wanted. I'm like, no. Anissa and Fessy can never be partners again. That's what I wanted. Not just because it's them two or whatever, but just in general, in the game, I would have preferred you can't go back. Otherwise, this will happen. You'll feel like, oh, well, what the fuck?
You're missing out, though. This is why it's great. Because Anissa picks Fessy, this forces Fessy to have to go into elimination again, so that way he can get rid of Anissa.
Holy shit.
So, it's going to happen. Fessy has to get a new partner, so Fessy has to go in a second time now.
Oh, yeah. Or Fessy is going to fucking go to someone else and say, like, please, when you win, take me. Because Nani wanted him. Remember that?
Okay, yeah. So maybe Fessy will talk to Ashley. Once Ashley goes in, if she could win, like, please take me. He's going to be campaigning, like, somebody pick me.
Yeah, Ashley would be like, can my family buy your family? If so, maybe I'll consider. Fucking horrible. Okay. Okay, so Anissa gets Fessy back. God, that's so shameless. She's like, I don't care. Hate me. We're together. It's like she's like, I know how I'm going to keep my guy around. I'll get pregnant. You can't.
He'll have to stay with me then. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Okay, so now Casey has to choose between Leroy and Devin. Did you see this coming?
Yeah, I figured she would go with Leroy again. They were a good team. They worked together fine.
Yeah,
and like, this was just perfect for Leroy. Like, Leroy was the biggest winner this episode. He got rid of Tori, who was a big threat to Cam. He got rid of he got his own partner, Anissa, sent in, and Anissa ends up picking Fessy, which is great for Leroy, because then Leroy doesn't have to hurt her feelings, and Leroy gets an upgrade on a partner. He gets Casey over Anissa.
I agree with all that stuff, except the idea that he was like, he crafted the scenario of having Anissa getting put in. No, I don't. I think he was like, well, I was trying to burn it on myself, and look what happened. Yeah.
No, it wasn't his plan, but he saw all the pieces on the table, and he's like, oh, this can work great for me. Oh, man, this would be phenomenal. He's like, that's why I have to vote in myself and Anissa, and it worked out great.
Okay, so Leroy gets chosen over Devin. Leroy's like, loser. But I'm like, well, I mean, is he? I mean, who is he? He lost Tori, who he didn't want. He didn't want Tori after that. We kind of thought it was for play.
He chose Tori to begin with.
Okay, but that was the thing, though. Like, at first, I thought it was like a Biden-Harris thing. It was like, come and work with me, and stuff like that. And then we both said, "Oh, they're being super fake" by saying like, "Oh, I hate my partner and wish he was dead," shit like that. But then they win together. But after that win, Devin is totally over Tori. He's just like, "Goodbye," you know. So when Leroy said loser, I didn't feel Devin was a loser. He was just like, "No, I didn't want my partner anymore. She's gone. I'm a rogue agent now."
I think Devin's just playing into it because he saw that his partner was getting targeted. He picked Tori because she was a strong partner, but then once she's getting targeted, he wasn't going to stand in the way of it because he knows he doesn't have the numbers to stand in the way of it. So he kind of just turned on her too, along with the rest of the house.
Oh, shit.
So that way, he can stay on the good side of the majority of the house and be like, yeah, let's get rid of her.
All right.
Devin is just playing this day by day. It's the same way that like Wes plays the game, where he doesn't have a lot of long foresight, where he's playing a long-term game. He's just taking it day by day, just trying to scratch by.
Okay. I like that aspect or that viewpoint. I'll go with it. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
I think Devin would be a great partner with Ashley, right?
It sounds like it should, but I don't know. It sounds like it should, so I'll say yeah.
I think it would be cool. I want to see it in the final. I don't know.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Because they're not like physically imposing, but like when it comes to puzzles and outsmarting people, like I feel like I don't know. I would like to see it.
Yeah.
They're both so damn evil. I feel like they need to be evil together.
I think Devin's a slightly less darker shade of evil as Ashley. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Well, that was the end of the episode, and the new episode's coming out tomorrow. Who knows? We'll see if the views go up for the show, not the podcast. The podcast, actually, I'll say, is risen up a little bit. Tiny. That's me. That's me trying to start a car. That is the podcast. Like we've been sitting on the front lawn for too long. Like no, you'll start.
I thought you were talking like you're from Georgia, and you're like, I'm going to go wharf the car.
But yeah, that was the show, people. We'll try and get these out a little bit earlier. I think the earliest we do is Monday. All right. Yeah, that was the end of the episode. Like, subscribe, comment. This was Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud
and Famous Dave.